So step 2 then, this is where we get into the good stuff now, the scarifying. So what is scarifying? Scarifying basically is where you remove thatch and moss and you're preparing the lawn for seeding. It allows nutrients to get through that thatch layer into the soil. And it is about healthy soil, don't forget. It allows air to move around the crown of the plant, and that can help prevent disease and help dry the plant out. And then it also removes weed grasses and improves the aesthetic of the lawn. Horrible, horrible weed grasses, woody stems, they don't look good, they lack colour. So lawn, if you walk on your lawn and it feels bouncy, that's usually a good indicator that you've got thatch, a really deep thatch layer. So if it feels bouncy underfoot, think about scarifying it. But it's also a pale diluted colour can mean that you need to scarify as well. And don't forget, different grasses accumulate thatch at different rates. So just because your neighbour with 100% bent golf green type lawn is scarifying every 3 weeks and verticutting doesn't mean you have to. So different grasses accumulate thatch at different levels, different rates.
We've got a question from Arvind Rich. Do you have to cut the lawn before scarifying?
Yeah, so do you know what? I mean, great point. Yes, you do. Now, there's a golden rule to mowing the lawn, and that is that you never cut more than 1/3 of the blade. Generally what happens is you want to get this lawn as short as possible. You can afford to be brutal because you're about to give it some real spa day treatment. So you want to put your mower on the lowest possible setting before you scarify it. Now what you might want to do is the weeks leading up to scarifying, you drop your height of the cut gradually so you're on the lowest level, and ideally you want to scalp that lawn. That will allow the scarifier to access that thatch really well. Your lawn after this process will look terrible, and we'll talk about that a bit later, but it will spring back. So it is important. Great question. Get it nice and low, and that's why I prefer the rotary mower in the lead up. Great question. So scarifying then, by hand, you can get one of these scarifying rakes. Again, if it's a small lawn, great option. Quite tiring, so you know, maybe a few cups of tea while you do that. Also really great for getting into corners where the big heavy machinery can't go, and actually a great tool for the shed because you can create lovely seed beds for it throughout the year if you need to do patch seeding. It is hard work, great for small lawns, gets into the corners. It's almost like I've read this presentation before. Great for seed beds. Right, so this is the next stage now. We're getting into the home scarifiers. This is a Hyundai plug-in electric scarifier. You'll see our review videos on there. And what's great about these is you have a springtime cassette that you can fit in, so you can use it regularly throughout the year to control your thatch, not just rip it out at lawn renovation time. You can get battery powered ones as well. We're soon getting a Hyundai battery powered one. They're sending us one to have a look at, so we'll be testing that soon. Perfect for domestic use and regular use, and very cost effective. I want to say roughly 150 quid will get you a really nice electric scarifier. The petrol option, this is you go in all out, 80 quid to hire it. Don't buy it. You're looking at, I don't know, 2 grand for one of these. It's an absolute beast. It's designed to be used every day. Go to your hire centre, or again, maybe a cricket and bowls club. But it's great for really big lawns or really intense scarifying. It's robust and heavy, relatively cheap to hire, but everyone wants to hire at the same time. So you've got nice soft ground, the sun's just come out, everyone's out to renovate their lawns, you can't get hold of it from your local shop. So that is one of the downsides. So I've created the 4Ds of scarifying, and this will help you kind of figure out how you need to scarify. And the 4Ds of scarifying is depth, direction, disposal, and despair. And it doesn't matter how many times you've done it, you hit all 4 of those stages every single time. So in terms of the depth, you want to set the depth of the scarifier to make lines in the soil. There's a reason for this. When the tines dig down into the soil, you can see the lines in the soil there. That gives the seed somewhere to go, and it drops down into that soil and can really improve the seed soil contact. And then eventually those lines will close up and you've enveloped the seed. Also, you want to make sure you're getting down into the soil, so you are going hard enough. A lot of people with Scarifying will just tickle the top. You want to go deep. You want to go brutal. Remember, we're going big. This is a lawn renovation. All different machines. Some of them are just a winder. Some of them are like a little height adjuster clunk. So just set it to what you think. Run it for a couple of meters. Get down on your hands and knees and inspect it. If you haven't got down into the soil, lower it more and go again. It depends on the weight of the machine, the length of your grass, a load of different things. So I can't give you a definitive setting, but just ensure that you're putting lines into the soil. If you've got it right, the Scarifier, certainly the home versions, will almost want to run away from you as the tines grip the floor and kind of pull you forward. Just offer a little bit of resistance to allow the tines to claw through the grass. There's loads of questions coming in. This is brilliant. We will get around to answering them all for sure. So please, keep them coming in. Direction is the second D. You want to complete 2 passes of a Scarifier. I'll
just let Rich
ground instead of up.
Is that you freezing or me freezing? I think it might be.
I'm okay. If anyone gives us a thumbs up if we're still working, all right, can people still see us?
You sound okay now. There was just a little blip on
my side. Yeah, we got thumbs up here on the screen.
Cool.
Brilliant, brilliant.
So
I'm glad.
Now.
And everyone's paying attention and no one's fallen asleep yet, which is remarkable. Fantastic. So you want to go in 2 different directions. The first direction in a different direction to what you would normally mow, just to make sure we're not napping the grass and we're actually going to stand that grass up. The next pass you do, the second pass, you see that black line that's on the screen now. We want that to be at about 30-degree angle. Certainly don't cross it like that. That's just too harsh for the lawn to deal with. So if you go at a 30-degree angle, that's all you need to do. And moving into disposal, I can't impress upon you enough, if you've never done it before, how much thatch you're going to pull out. I do my lawn every year, and every time I look and go, where did all that come from? And your lawn really looks no different. That is what the thatch is. It's all that dead organic matter that's in the soil level that is being pulled out. So collect all that thatch using a plastic tine rake. My new favourite toy is a lawn sweeper. You'll see that in one of our lawn reno videos. Dan brought a lawn sweeper, and I was a bit, that's old school. We just blow it. It's a remarkable machine, and actually you'll see a video in a minute of using it. A blower's always good, but there will be a lot. Use your black bags, take it to the tip. Use a builder's bag if you've got one. If you use your kind of green waste bins, you put garden waste, I think they're brown in some counties. Don't expect it all to fit into there, especially if you've been reducing the height of your mow, the height of cut for the last few weeks. You're going to produce a lot of green matter to get off here. If you're a composter, yes, you can compost it, but there'll be so much green. Make sure you've got enough brown material to put in with it. And when you've raked it all up, you can use that rotary mower on the lowest setting again, because it sucks up all that little bit of thatch that's left on top. And the added benefit of cutting the grass is actually when you're scarifying it, it'll stand the sward up again. So when you cut it, you're getting a really nice low cut.
A couple of questions, Rich.
Yeah.
One was from Demantry. Apologies if I've butchered your name there. It's really small on my screen. It says, does Scarify not remove the present grass?
So it will pull some of the grass out. It's inevitable you'll see some green in there. If it does, it's not really a problem because we're going to put some new fresh seed down. The grass it tends to pull out is the bigger, thicker, woodier stemmed grass, which generally is the weed grasses or the older grass. So you're getting rid of the ugly stuff and getting the much nicer, newer seed in.
And another one from Lee. He asked a question, when you drop the level, and it's referring to like mowing before Scarifying, how long in days wise between the cuts? So I'm assuming that is like, we'll go into cutting a little bit later on.
Yeah, got it. So I would go every other day. And if you've got a cylinder mower, you generally can stepless change. You just turn it half a turn every time down, and that's fine. But if you're on a rotary, generally you have like a stepped change. Just give it every other day as you bring it down. That's absolutely fine. A good 2-week run up of mowing is going to be absolutely ideal. We good?
Yeah, there's one more. it's a question about aerating. When aerating, should it punch a hole or be hollow so that it removes some soil? My lawn is quite compacted.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about aerating in a couple of sections and the difference between hollow and solid tine aerating. For lawn renovation, hollow tine every single time, and I'll explain why. Generally throughout the year, when you're just trying to leave compaction, solid tine, because with hollow tine we're trying to get seed and soil and fertilizer into basically these little plant pots that we're creating. So we'll go for hollow tine aerating for lawn renovations. Great, good questions. Nothing I can't answer yet. There's a challenge for you. Despair. So this is the section that everybody, no matter how professional, how many times you've done it, you look at the lawn like that and you go, my God, look at the bare patches. Look at the where there's no seed, there's no grass whatsoever. It will look bare. Don't panic. Trust the process. And now you can see what you're actually working with. It will lack colour because we've dumped the height of cut relatively quickly. Trust the process. This isn't our process. This is tried and tested over many years of process. So I've got a quick video for you here just to have a look at. This is going to be a couple of minutes, and this is us scarifying one of our lawns. And you can see how it's pulling up. The lawn doesn't look anything like there's anything wrong with it, but look at all the thatch.
So you can see there we've used the Cayman. It's literally taken us, that's quicker than cutting the lawn, that was literally 5 minutes. The benefit again of a petrol one is I haven't had to set it so deep, and I have just been able to like spring across the top. And you can see my lawn was looking great an hour ago. Now look at it covered in thatch. But don't worry, because look at all this thatch. You can see all the straw coloured stuff. Yes, there's a bit of green in there, don't worry about that. But all the straw coloured, I can see some of the root systems that have come up. Some of this annual meadow grass, really thick woody stems. You don't want that in your lawn. Well, you're not at the end of the world, but I don't want it in my lawn, so that's all come up. So you can just see how much has come up. And once I've cleared all this thatch, again, it'll look fairly green again, so don't panic at this stage. So Dan's there with the Gardena spreader, and I'm here with the traditional rake. Already, I feel like I picked the worst option, but traditionally you would just rake it up. I like to rake it into little windrows, come in like this way, then I'd come back and rake this way, and then I get a nice little windrow, and then I can come back and collect it. But I feel like I'm not even going to bother actually. I didn't think that Gardena rake was going to work particularly well, but I must say I'm impressed. Yeah, I'm going to give up. Let's I will get the Cobra mower out and mow behind Dan.
You can see that, yeah. Well, yeah. Someone's just having a little laugh there. I didn't expect it to work as well as it did. It's now my new favourite toy. And you can see there we used the sweeper, and then I went over it with the rotary mower at the end. And just look at that lawn. Even though we've scarified it, you saw how much thatch we took out of that lawn. It's like nothing's been removed when you look at it now. So that shows that what Scarifying actually does, it removes all the stuff you don't need in your lawn anyway.